If your pension payment is missing this morning, do not dismiss it, and do not tell yourself it will probably show up later, because for millions of seniors across Canada, a delay of even one day can trigger a chain reaction of stress, missed bills, unpaid prescriptions, and hard choices no one should have to make after a lifetime of work. What matters now is not fear, but clarity, because the truth is more serious and more manageable than most people have been told. Canada's retirement benefit system has not disappeared, and your core programs have not been cancelled, but the way money is being delivered, monitored, verified, and corrected has changed enough in 2026 to create real confusion for people who rely on every single deposit. That means you need to know exactly what has changed, what has stayed the same, what your payment should look like, when it should arrive, why it may be delayed, and what steps you should take immediately so that you stay protected. These benefits are not extra money. They are not favors. They are part of the financial structure that keeps your life stable. Rent, groceries, utilities, insurance, transportation, medications, and every routine monthly cost are often timed around CPP, OAS, and GIS. When one of those payments is even briefly disrupted, it does not feel like a technical issue. It feels personal, urgent, and deeply destabilizing. That is why this matters so much right now. Let us start with the most important point. The Canada Pension Plan has not been cut. Old age security has not been cancelled. The Guaranteed Income Supplement has not been eliminated. Those programs continue in 2026, and eligible seniors are still entitled to receive them. The major source of confusion is not the existence of the benefits. The source of confusion is the delivery system behind them. Canada is moving more aggressively toward digital administration, direct deposit dependence, online account management, and paper reduction. For some seniors, this will feel seamless. For others, it has already created gaps, delays, uncertainty, and a dangerous assumption that the old backup methods will always still be there. In many cases, they are not. More than 7 million older Canadians receive one or more major federal retirement benefits, and those payments remain the financial backbone of retirement income across the country. The three programs that matter most are CPP, OAS, and GIS. In 2026, each of them carries updated payment amounts, adjusted thresholds, and ongoing cost of living changes. But the bigger operational issue is the increasing expectation that your banking information, personal details, and tax information must all be current, accurate, and synchronized. If they are not, a payment that should have been routine can suddenly be delayed, returned, paused, or manually reviewed. That is where many people are being caught off guard. The practical reality is simple. If your bank account on file is outdated, if your address changed, if your account number was modified, if your institution merged systems, if your marital status changed and affected linked records, or if your tax filing status created an information gap, you may face a delay that would have been easier to avoid under older paper-based habits. Direct deposit is faster when everything is correct, but it is far less forgiving when details do not match. There is no comfort in learning that after the payment fails. The comfort comes from understanding it before anything goes wrong. That is why the first line of defense in 2026 is no longer waiting for the mail. It is proactively confirming that every piece of information attached to your benefits is current. You should know when your deposit is supposed to arrive, how much you should expect, and what could interrupt it. Once you know those three things, you are in a much stronger position than someone who simply waits and hopes the system handles itself. Payment timing remains one of the easiest ways to detect a problem early. CPP and OAS payments generally follow the long-established pattern of being issued on the third to last banking day of each month, with December usually arriving earlier because of the holiday calendar. For 2026, the key dates are January 28th, February 25th, March 27th, April 28th, May 27th, June 25th, July 29th, August 27th, September 25th, October 28th, November 26th, and an early payment in December. These are the official release dates, which means direct deposit recipients often see funds on that day or within a very short processing window, depending on the financial institution. Some banks post deposits in the early morning hours, while others may reflect incoming funds later in the same business day. A few online banks may even show them slightly earlier. But if the expected money is not visible by the end of the next business day, that is the moment to stop waiting and start checking. Do not assume the system will correct itself quietly. Sometimes it does, sometimes it does not. The Canada Pension Plan remains the benefit most closely tied to your working life. Its amount is based on what you contributed during your employment years and on when you chose to start receiving it. In 2026, the maximum CPP retirement pension at age 65 is around $1,430 per month for someone who contributed at the highest level for a full career. But the average recipient usually receives less because most work histories include lower earnings, gaps, caregiving years, or years with reduced contributions. Your personal CPP amount is unique to your record. It is also permanently affected by timing. If you started at age 60, the payment was reduced for every month taken early. If you delayed after 65, the monthly amount increased for every month you waited, up to age 70. That means two people with similar careers can still receive very different CPP amounts depending on the age they started. CPP is taxable income, and it remains an important part of retirement planning because it interacts with other benefits, especially GIS. The enhancement of CPP that began years earlier continues to strengthen future payouts for workers who contributed under those enhanced rules. Retirees already receiving benefits may not see a dramatic visible shift, but anyone who worked and contributed during the enhancement years could be benefiting from a modest increase built into the formula automatically. Old age security operates differently because it is based primarily on age and residence, not payroll contributions. That makes it one of the most widely received retirement benefits in Canada. For the opening quarter of 2026, the maximum monthly OAS amount for those aged 65 to 74 is about $742.31, while those aged 75 and older receive about $816.54. Beginning in April 2026, that amount edges slightly higher after the quarterly inflation adjustment, with seniors aged 65 to 74 receiving about $743.05, and seniors 75 and older receiving about $817.36. Those increases may look small on paper, but for seniors managing tight budgets, every adjustment matters. OAS is reviewed quarterly, in January, April, July, and October using inflation data. Importantly, it does not decrease when prices soften. The adjustments are designed to protect purchasing power over time. Eligibility for OAS depends on how long you lived in Canada after age 18. A full pension generally requires 40 years of residence, while shorter residence periods produce a partial pension on a proportional basis. That structure matters for seniors who immigrated later in life or spent long periods living outside Canada. OAS also comes with a separate issue that higher-income seniors cannot ignore: the recovery tax, often called the clawback. For the payment period beginning in July 2026, the reduction is tied to your 2025 income. If your net income rose above the threshold, your OAS may be partially reduced, and at sufficiently high income levels, it may disappear altogether. For most low and modest income seniors, this is not a concern, but it becomes very relevant if you had a large RRSP withdrawal, major investment gain, property sale, or another one-time income spike during 2025. A single large transaction can affect OAS for a full benefit year, and many people do not realize that until after the reduction appears. The Guaranteed Income Supplement is where the system becomes most sensitive and, for many low-income seniors, most important. GIS is only available to people already receiving OAS, and it is income tested. That means your entitlement depends on your income level excluding OAS itself. For the April to June 2026 quarter, the maximum GIS for a single, widowed, or divorced pensioner is about $1,065.47 per month, bringing the combined OAS and GIS total for some low-income seniors to more than $1,800 monthly. GIS is not taxable, which is a major advantage, but it is also highly responsive to changes in income. That is why understanding its rules is absolutely critical. Every year, GIS is recalculated based on the previous year's tax return. If your 2025 taxes were not filed, your GIS can be interrupted or stopped because the government lacks the information needed to confirm eligibility. This is one of the most avoidable benefit disruptions in the system, yet it still happens every year. If someone misses the filing deadline or assumes that little or no income means taxes do not matter, GIS can suddenly disappear in July. In many cases, it can be restored, including retroactive amounts, but only after the return is filed and processed. The smarter move is not to let it lapse in the first place. There is another GIS rule that surprises many people. Other income can reduce it quickly. CPP income reduces GIS entitlement, and withdrawals from RRSPs or RRIFs can do the same because they count as income. That means a senior with low taxable income can accidentally trigger a large GIS reduction simply by making a withdrawal that looked harmless at the time. This is why benefit planning matters more than people think. A withdrawal that helps in 1 month can reduce support over the following benefit period in ways that are expensive and difficult to reverse. For seniors with modest savings, low income, and partial reliance on GIS, one financial move can have consequences far beyond the immediate cash received. That is why advice, or at minimum a careful review before large withdrawals, can save real money. Now return to the heart of the issue in 2026, the growing dependence on direct deposit and digital administration. Direct deposit is not new, but the expectation that it is the normal and preferred method is stronger than ever. The federal system increasingly assumes that recipients will maintain current bank details, monitor accounts electronically, receive notices digitally, and manage issues through online portals or phone support rather than through paper-based backup routines. For people who are comfortable online, this may sound efficient. For seniors who are not, it can feel like the rules changed without enough warning. That gap between policy and practical daily life is where problems begin. The government's stated reasons for modernizing benefit delivery are straightforward: lower administrative cost, faster payment routing, reduced mail dependence, improved traceability, and greater security. In principle, direct deposit really is safer than a paper check sitting in a mailbox or moving slowly through the postal system. But the transition period carries risk because the system is only as reliable as the information stored in it. When your details are correct, payments move smoothly. When they are not, the system does exactly what automated systems do. It flags the mismatch. Under older habits, an exception might still have ended in a mailed payment or paper notice that bought you time. In the newer environment, that same mismatch can freeze the process, bounce the deposit, or trigger a manual review that takes precious days. Those days matter most when your account is already near the edge by month end. Common problem points are not dramatic, they are ordinary. A person changes banks, a checking account is replaced, a branch number changes after a merger, a spouse dies, and joint account details are altered. A senior moves into assisted living and updates an address with one agency but not another. A legal name variation appears differently across records. A tax return is delayed. An online account is never activated. None of these situations feel extraordinary, yet any one of them can disrupt a payment stream that had been stable for years. That is why seniors must stop thinking of benefit delivery as something that runs entirely in the background. In 2026, the safer approach is active awareness. Know what is on file. Know who holds it. Know what changed. If you do not use the internet comfortably, do not let that become a silent disadvantage. There are still ways to protect yourself. You can call Service Canada. You can visit a Service Canada center. You can ask your bank to confirm direct deposit details. You can authorize a trusted representative where appropriate. You can keep printed records of account information and payment dates in a secure place. You can ask a family member to help you access online information without handing over full control of your finances. The key message is not that everyone must become digitally confident overnight. The key message is that no one should remain passive while the system around them becomes more digital. The first protective step is to verify direct deposit information. Confirm the institution number, transit number, and account number connected to your benefits. One wrong digit is enough to misdirect or reject a deposit. The second step is to confirm that your personal profile is current, including your mailing address, phone number, marital status, and any legal name updates. The third step is to make sure your taxes are filed, especially if GIS is involved. The fourth step is to monitor your bank account around payment dates instead of waiting for a letter or assuming that silence means everything is fine. The fifth step is to set alerts with your bank if those services are available, because a low balance notification or deposit alert can warn you early when something expected does not appear. The sixth step is to act quickly if a payment is missing. Start by checking your bank account carefully, including pending items if your institution shows them. Then review your account information through the appropriate government portal if you use one. If nothing explains the problem, contact Service Canada directly and be ready with identifying information so the agent can see whether the payment was issued, returned, or held. The fastest solutions usually happen when the problem is reported early. Waiting a week rarely improves anything. There is another issue that has grown alongside modernization, and that is fraud. Whenever systems change, scammers rush in. In 2026, criminals are exploiting confusion about direct deposit updates, digital accounts, and government benefit notices to target seniors through calls, texts, and emails. They may claim there is a problem with your banking information. They may say your benefits will stop unless you verify your identity. They may send a link that looks official. They may pretend to be from Service Canada, the Canada Revenue Agency, or even your financial institution. The rule is simple and essential. Never give banking information, passwords, verification codes, or your social insurance number in response to an unsolicited message. If something seems urgent, end the interaction and contact the official organization yourself using a number you already trust. Fear is the scammer's favorite tool. Calm verification is yours. So what should you remember above all? Your benefits still exist. Your eligibility still matters. The money is still meant for you. But the system now expects more accuracy, faster corrections, and less dependence on paper. CPP remains a taxable pension tied to your contribution history and start date. OAS remains a residence-based pension with quarterly inflation adjustments and a clawback for higher-income seniors. GIS remains a vital non-taxable supplement for lower-income recipients, but it depends heavily on tax filing and income reporting. Payment dates follow a predictable monthly pattern, and those dates should be written down, remembered, and checked. If your deposit is late, you do not need to panic, but you do need to respond. Confirm, verify, and call early if necessary. What matters most is not guessing. What matters is knowing. When you understand your amounts, your schedule, your income interactions, your tax obligations, and your banking details, you take away most of the uncertainty that causes panic in the first place. Retirement income should not feel like a mystery. It should feel stable, predictable, and protected. That protection begins with information, and information only helps when it is acted on before a problem becomes a crisis. Stay alert, stay current, keep your records accurate, and treat every missed payment as something to investigate promptly rather than something to hope away. The more prepared you are, the less power disruption has over your month, your budget, and your peace of mind. One more practical safeguard deserves attention. Keep a simple written record at home with your expected payment dates, your normal deposit amounts, the last 4 digits of the account where benefits are sent, and the official contact numbers you would use if something goes wrong. Do not rely only on memory, especially during stressful moments. A written reference can save valuable time and help you speak more confidently if you need assistance from your bank, a family member, or a government agent. It is also wise to review your monthly statement instead of looking only for the deposit itself. Small bank fees, automatic renewals, subscription charges, and insurance withdrawals can quietly increase pressure on a budget that already depends on benefit timing. Sometimes the real problem is not that the pension failed to arrive, but that another withdrawal happened earlier than expected and created the appearance of a missing payment. Careful review helps you separate a system delay from a budgeting issue, and that distinction matters. If you live with a spouse or support an older parent, make sure at least one trusted person knows the basic payment schedule and understands what to check first. Emergencies, illness, travel, hospitalization, or a sudden move can make routine financial tasks harder to manage at exactly the wrong time. Preparation is not pessimism. Preparation is protection. And in a year when benefit delivery depends more heavily on accurate records, timely tax filing, and direct deposit precision, the seniors who stay organized will have the strongest protection against stress, confusion, and avoidable interruption. And if you ever feel unsure, treat that uncertainty as a signal to verify the date, confirm the amount, review your account, and call the correct office quickly, because early action prevents issues from becoming expensive, stressful, avoidable problems. Canada Pension Vault.